The Soviet Mil Moscow Design Bureau is famous for the helicopters it has produced. The Mil series helicopters can fly almost anywhere in the world and under any conditions, performing various tasks from transporting patients to rescuing lost individuals in the mountains, carrying loads to remote areas, and even being used against enemies. Mil, the world's largest helicopter manufacturer, was confident in its ability to produce a helicopter for every mission demanded. With this confidence, during the height of the Cold War, they received an order for the world's largest helicopter, and the company responded with the Mil V-12, which still holds records to this day. Welcome to Extraordinary Aviation Designs. In this video, we'll discuss the Mil V-12 Homer helicopter, developed to cross the vast steppes of Soviet Russia, its purpose, and why it was discontinued. In the Soviet Union, which had the largest land area in the world, traveling or transporting goods from one place to another was a challenging task. This vast geography was filled with deserts, frozen lands, mountains, and swamps. Building roads or railways in such areas was both extremely difficult and too costly for the Soviet budget to support. For this reason, helicopters began to be used extensively in Russia for transporting people and cargo. Their ability to quickly reach almost any place without needing a runway made helicopters an essential vehicle for the Soviets. Recovering from the devastation of World War II and rebuilding intensively, the Soviets by the late 1950s were making extensive use of various advanced helicopters for building large facilities in remote areas, reaching settlements otherwise inaccessible, and transporting military personnel and equipment. Models like the Mi-6 and Mi-10 could transport loads up to 15 tons, but the Soviet administration wanted to move even heavier cargo. At that time, nuclear tensions were at their peak. Both countries were trying to hide their nuclear weapons, capable of destroying the world multiple times in places invisible to the enemy. Initially, this was easy for Russia. It could hide its weapons anywhere in the vast country. But first, it had to transport them there, which could only be done by trains. The Red Army was uncomfortable with this because American spy planes could easily track the railways and locate launch sites, rendering all their concealment efforts useless. To solve this problem, they decided that ballistic missiles and equipment weighing between 20 and 25 tons should be transported by helicopter. The Mil Design Bureau was tasked with this mission. To complete a helicopter of unprecedented size in a short time, designers at the Mil Bureau decided to use existing systems. They would utilize the engines, rotor assembly, and power transmission equipment from the Mi-6 and Mi-10 helicopters in the new design. Engineers tested the available systems and found that the most efficient and seamless method was to place the engines on wings extending from either side of the helicopter. This method had also been tested successfully on the German Focke-Wulf FW-223, one of the first helicopters used for military purposes. Placing the rotors in this way also eliminated the need for a tail rotor to counteract the reaction torque, which causes the helicopter to spin in the opposite direction of the main rotor. The helicopter, whose design was finalized, was named the V-12. With its massive fuselage, it could carry 200 passengers or lift between 25 and 40 tons. Considering that the Antonov 12 cargo plane used by the Soviets at the time could only carry 20 tons, the V-12's capabilities become even clearer. The helicopter, which required a crew of 6 to operate, also had a type of flight computer to prevent the twin rotors from spinning at different speeds and destabilizing the aircraft. Its fuselage, large enough to fit 3 trucks inside, could carry intercontinental ballistic missiles and launch equipment of the period. This meant that the Soviets could deploy missiles targeting the United States across their vast territories, avoiding easy detection by CIA spy planes that had previously tracked railways to locate missiles. Taking 7 years from its initial design to its first flight, the V-12 proved its strength during tests by lifting a load of 40 tons, equivalent to 2 cargo planes. The Soviets showcased this massive helicopter at the Paris Air Show in 1971 to demonstrate their power and technological prowess to the world. Advertised more for its civilian applications than its primary purpose, the V-12 attracted significant attention from those attending the fair, with foreign media reporting that this enormous helicopter would enable rapid access to all parts of Siberia. However, these reports were not entirely accurate. During the long design process, there had been significant advances in technology. The Americans were now observing Soviet territory with satellites rather than planes, and with the country continuously photographed, launch sites could no longer be hidden effectively. Meanwhile, the Soviets had also begun developing ballistic missiles of a size that could be transported by large, multi-wheeled vehicles. Militarily, there was no longer a need for the V-12 to carry missiles, nor were there many options for its civilian use. Cities large enough to require the simultaneous transport of 200 people typically had airports where airplanes could land, and in other settlements, the vehicle was too expensive. Maintenance and operational costs were excessive for most civilian missions. The development program for the world's largest helicopter, which had nowhere to serve, was canceled in 1974 due to lack of demand. The two V-12 prototypes that were produced and flown retired after breaking records, fading into the shadows of history. Thank you for watching Extraordinary Aviation Designs. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it. You can support our channel by clicking the thank you button or by joining as a member. And don't forget to subscribe to catch more videos on extraordinary aircraft designs in aviation history.